Monster family here. So we've been back several days now, and first thing I want to do is say thank you to all of our supporters. Thank you to all of those who have called. It really means a lot to us, means a lot to Michael. But it's dawned on me that some of you may want to know, first of all, what happened, but also what does this mean for us, and maybe even where we're going. So I'm going to do just a little bit of an interview with the monster right here. Some questions that I thought some of you might want answers to, all of his supporters, all of his viewers, and looking forward to picking the monster's brain. You ready, baby?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I've got the questions that I've actually written down here, and I'm just gonna ask them, and we're gonna let this go wherever it may go, okay? Just to let you know, I know what's in his heart, what's in his mind. But I think that that's something that more of you need to be aware of. So honey, returning from Poland, let's go back to that very first day when we were returning. Tell us a little bit about what you went through, not just that day, but even the next several days.
Man, it sucked. I just had trained so hard for this match, and it meant a whole lot to me. And then to come up short, I told somebody after the event I would have rather gotten blown out 6-0 than to have been that close. I've had 2 opportunities in my life to be the overall #1 in the world, and in 2011 I lost 4-2 to Devin Larratt when he was #1. And then this past weekend, I lost 4-2 to Pushkar. So, it kind of makes you question, is it really in the cards to be the globally ranked overall #1 in the world? So, yeah, I went through a lot of that. Just, I got home at 11:35. We walked in the house Monday night. 11:36, I was out in the gym doing arms. Hadn't missed a beat, but, I don't like being this size. So, I think that was an error that I made going in. Same thing I did with Devin. I thought bigger was better. I just need to be powerful. I'm a guy who likes to be fit, right? I was a short, chubby kid growing up, so I don't like being fat. And although I'm carrying a lot of mass right now, I'm also carrying quite a bit of body fat. So I caught myself being more concerned about how my shirt fit me, when I was live on the pay-per-view, and whether or not you could see the back fat that I had, more so than trying to, focus on beating Andre. So in the future, we're gonna enjoy the holidays. We're gonna go on a cruise for Rebecca's birthday. But January 8th, I'm gonna start our program. We run a transformation business. We're gonna do our own transformation, and I'm gonna have 1 cheat meal a week until I'm ripped, until I like me again, right? So I think I could be. I weighed in at 311. I've gained 10 pounds since I've been home. I was 323 the other day, but I think I could be 260, 270, and be ripped and have abs and be 90 to 95% as strong as I am right now, but twice as confident because I like me. So yeah, just, bummed out, pretty much.
So you were bummed out. And you already said my next question was, what did you do when we first got home? Which you already answered that. 1 minute after we got home, he walked into the gym and he started training. And it was then that I knew it might take us a while, but his head would get right. So I guess what my question is your head still there? Is it still buried? Do you feel like you're coming out on the other side of this, or is it still weighing pretty heavily on you?
Well, a loss weighs on you until you get to avenge it, right? So, I don't know when I get my next shot. We're heading down to Orlando for PAF Nationals next week, so it's not like I got a whole lot of time to sulk, right? I got to go compete again here in a week and a half or so. So, yeah, I'm not it's not all sunshine and rainbows right now, but you're in a sport where one guy wins and one guy loses. I'm just not the guy that loses most of the time, so kind of sucks.
So you've gained a little perspective, but let's look back just a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened? Now, I'm talking about after the first 2 matches, because if you were there or if you were watching closely, you know, obviously Michael was hit while he was waiting for a wrist to be straightened. First match. And then the second match, horrible call. Let's forget about that, because we believed, and several of your supporters believed, this was going to be a 6-0 shutout. What happened in those next 4 matches?
Andre was really smart. Started in round 2. Once I stopped him, first match, you know, flash pin, waiting on the ref to say, or straighten his wrist, and, you know, I should have been waiting on go, and he blasted me. Round 2, I caught him. And as soon as I stopped him, that was my entire objective, right? When they say go, don't get pinned. And match was stopped. Things were looking good. He couldn't pin me. He was being real aggressive. And then all of a sudden, he elbow fouls on purpose, and I'm like, oh, shit. That was genius on his part. In these rules, elbow foul, regardless if it's intentional or not, just means you get to restart the match. Well, he's got the hardest hit in the world, and my job was to stop that hit. But because he chose to intentionally elbow foul, I had to stop it 3 or 4 more times, which just took a toll on my arm. Round 3, stopped it. He elbow fouled. He elbow fouled again, I win. Round 4, I stopped his hit. He elbow fouled. Stopped him again. He elbow fouled again. So now we're 2-2.
I'll stop you right there just a second, because a lot of people out there, well, not a lot of people, let's just say a very small minority number of not.
It doesn't matter. Just people are like, well, Michael never pinned him. He fouled. You know, he fouled out.
He tapped out. You fools. He tapped out.
He was a smart arm
Okay.
wrestler. You know,
Yeah.
he couldn't pin me, and so he took an elbow foul. And then the next time I stopped him,
That's a tap out in arm wrestling.
He tried to pin, and in the process of him trying to pin me, he fouled. So what happened? Had I been more aggressive in those matches? So, okay, so you got Michael Todd, you got Monster Michael Todd. Monster Michael Todd never showed up that day.
We're going to get to
and
that.
And I say that because I never got to pin him. You know, he elbow fouled out. So there wasn't like a celebration on my end, right? You're not going to really celebrate a whole lot when the guy fouls out. Had I been more aggressive and gotten a pin on him, you know, transitioned my shoulder, drove him to the pad, you know, I'm going to scream like a crazy person. I'm going to beat my chest, and, you know, Monster's going to show up. And had that happened in either one of those matches, I think that would have taken a lot out of Andre's spirit, right? So then after that, you know, match 5, stopped the hit again. I thought the smart move was to wear him out, hold on to him, and out of sheer desperation, he drives in with a bent wrist, he dumps his wrist, and he just lays his body on it. And it's a technique he hasn't used in years, and I couldn't hold it. So I thought holding him and wearing him out was going to be the best bet so that I could come in and press him. And while I was holding him and trying to wear him out, he threw caution to the wind, dumped his own wrist, and drove his shoulder on me and got the...
Because he had nothing to lose.
Got the pin. So at that point, it was 3-2, and I couldn't win, right? I couldn't be the overall #1 in the world. I went back to my corner like, yeah, but you can tie and force a rematch. Sucked a lot of the wind out of my sails. Match 6, took off, was going to try to be aggressive, caught an elbow foul. And again, ready to go, stop the match. He's being more patient, he's trying to climb my hand. I'm holding off his hits, he tries to come in for the shoulder, I countered it. At one time I tried to jump him to a press, but he had too much side pressure, I had to back out. And then he gets just the right angle on top of my hand, walk through the strap, and dumps his wrist and drives his shoulder on me again, beats me 4-2. And what can you do?
So that tells us, you know, how it happened, how he got the pin and how he did end up with the win. What did this match mean to you?
It meant everything, you know. 27 years of arm wrestling, 34 national titles, 18 world titles, numerous international titles. I mean, I can quit now and I'll go down as one of the best ever, but there's only been a handful of people, maybe a couple of handfuls of people who've ever been held that overall #1 ranking, And although I think I was the best for a few years there, just never got my match with Dennis, I've never had that spot, right? I've never been at the top of that ranking. So that's what all this work was for, And then to come up short, it makes you, question a lot of shit. Is it worth it? Does it matter whether I become overall #1 or not? People don't get it. Being world champion is cool, right? A lot of people never get to be world champion. I've got to do that a bunch. But so have a lot of other people. There's world champions. There's 4 or 5 different leagues. You can be the world champion of any league. You can be world champion of any weight class. Every year there's 50 world champions, right? Over all the weight classes and the divisions and leagues. But there's only one overall #1, right? So yeah, the match meant a lot.
Well, talking about it going into the match, we have had over the last couple of years several different matches where you've gone in not prepared, you've gone in injured, you've gone in just kind of lackadaisically. Tell us about your shape going into this match.
I was the strongest I've ever been. I don't like how I look. Like I've been in this for 27 years and I've been the fit guy, right? You can go back and look at me from 198 pounds up to 242 pounds up to 260 and I'm the guy with abs. I'm the Mike Aiello before Mike Aiello came along, right? And the last few years I've taken on this monster persona, and I don't know if it's just because I fucking don't want to eat right anymore and I just want to, be normal because I've had to eat right for so long. I'm not a genetically gifted guy and I just thought bigger was better. But all that being said, the most ripped, lean version of me ever, the 260-pound version of me, or 258-pound version of me that beat Pushkar almost 6 years ago, could not have completed the workouts I did in preparation for this match. I was the strongest I've ever been in my life. I mean, I won the WAL 4 months ago, and I was 20 to 30% stronger on every exercise, doing the exact same workouts that allowed me to win the WAL. So, I mean, when you're using 50 to 60 more pounds on every exercise and you're still completing the same circuit just as fast, you're definitely stronger, you're definitely better prepared, you definitely got better endurance. So yeah, I mean, I have no excuse. Andre Pushkar was the strongest man I've ever arm wrestled in my life.
And that's saying a lot coming from you, because all of the top pullers you have personally held on to in the last year.
No, I've beaten everybody this year. Beaten everybody. And I mean, I beat Pushkar, but he just beat me 4-2, right? So my record against Andre is 8-5. I beat him 8 times, he's beat me 5. He's just beat me the last 2. You know what I'm saying? And those last 2 are what allowed him to remain the #1 in the world. Yeah, this year's been a good year. I've beaten all the top guys, but I came up a little short on this last one. But yeah, I mean, I was prepared to beat the previous best version of Andre. And I mean, run that match back this week, it might turn out different. I was capable of winning on that day. I made a couple of mistakes. He capitalized, so he won. But regardless, I've arm wrestled a lot of people over the last 27 years, and I've never felt a stronger hand, wrist, or an arm than the guy that I pulled November 19th.
So what would you have done differently? If you were the strongest form, what would you have done differently? The
only thing I could have done differently in my preparation was treat myself more like an athlete. I could have eaten clean 12 weeks out, been just as strong, but instead of weighing 311, I could have weighed 285, 280, and had abs and felt better about myself and been more confident.
Because some of what happens
I do believe the excess body fat caused my hand and wrist and forearm to pump up more. I mean, I'd been training with BFR, so I was used to the hardest pumps I'd ever had. I just think, not making the best decisions with my nutrition could have negatively impacted my performance. So.
Which, that's a big change.
Up until a few years ago, I was the guy that, you know, I put the best fuel in my body. I'm always counting my protein and carbs and fats. And like I said, man, we're foodies. I just fell in love with a chick that loves food as much as me. And, you know, after 2 decades of watching what you eat all the time, you know, I'm hearing everybody going, well, you're super heavy, you shouldn't have to worry about it. My stepson, 138 pounds and can eat whatever he wants. He doesn't understand that psychologically, you know, I still feel like the little short fat kid. So if I don't like how I look, I'm not as confident. Regardless if I'm strong enough, the actual mental aspect of it, I was lacking.
Okay, so we actually had a little bit of an insight, a rare opportunity that not many people will ever have, and that's that Pushkar actually invited us up to his room that night after the after party, and we spent hours chatting with him. And one of the things that I believe led to his increase in strength and his best form was he did change his nutrition.
Yeah, he owns a gym in Ukraine, and one of his really good friends won the Arnold Classic and won the Arnold Classic Europe, and basically took control of his nutrition in preparation for this match. And you know, he was probably 10 to 15 pounds more muscle mass than I'd ever seen him before, but with 5 pounds less body fat, right? I mean, the guy looks amazing.
Great shape.
It's the first time I've ever seen him look, you know, aesthetically intimidating, right? Like, I was like, holy shit, he's hard, you know? I mean, I was carrying a lot of mass, and a lot of people chalked up all that mass was, well, there's no way I'm gonna lose because I'm so big, so strong. But he was lean and hard and conditioned and the best endurance I'd ever seen him. And he even said it, we're sitting there, he goes, well, the last time you beat me, you know, I want to do the accent, but the last time you beat me, you were lean and fit, and now you have more fat. Like,
he did say
yeah,
that.
I do.
He did say that. Pushkar's coming a long way on his English. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, so, I mean, it is what it is.
Well, and in fact, I just want to say, as a little aside, we were also asking him his thoughts about the Truban-Chafee match, and he said the same thing about Truban. You know, Truban put on all of this weight, and this weight is not something that's helping his arm wrestling.
Yeah.
It's not the weight.
Yeah, I mean, I was,
you know, it's just
I was stronger than I've ever been. The extra weight, I think, kind of got in the way. I wasn't as fluid. I didn't transition as smoothly. Basically, I think it was just a confidence deal. You know, I got to feel good about myself when I compete. So,
well, let me ask you this: if given the chance, will you pull Pushkar again?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So, if given the chance, or is that something that you are going to make happen?
I want to be overall #1 in the world. So if Pushkar is still the overall #1 in the world.
You heard it here first. Monster Michael Todd is not retiring. There you go.
Yeah, so if he's still #1 in the world next year, and that's who I got to beat to become #1 in the world, then we'll go find him. You know?
Well, speaking of that, his next match may very well be with Chafee. Do you think that's a good matchup?
Dave Chafee was the most impressive I've ever seen him. We all were just, so many people were talking about Truban because of the size, how strong he must be, how good he's going to be. And Dave Chafee just showed up with a game plan that he executed perfectly. So yeah, that version of David looked extremely impressive. I still go back to what I said, Andre Pushkar is the strongest man I've ever arm wrestled. So that could be a very interesting match. I can't predict who would win. Pushkar is just so strong, but Dave has a different set of tools than what I bring, right? So who knows? Who knows? I mean, if Dave beats him, then I need to arm wrestle Dave. If Pushkar wins again, then I need to go find Pushkar. So,
well, you know, PAL is not the only league, and you very well may have some more matches coming down the road for another league. Should they match you up? Because there is one league that you and Chafee could very well pull a super match with.
Oh, absolutely.
So is that a match that you would welcome as well?
Have I ever dodged a match?
No, he has not. Ever.
I mean, do I want to pull Dave? Sure. Would I rather pull Dave if he was #1 in the world? Absolutely. So, I mean,
And the match, you and Dave match would be a very different match than you and Pushkar, and a very different match than Pushkar and Chafee. That they're all very different matches.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Everyone, I mean, there's people talk about a blueprint to beating me, and there is basically a blueprint to beating me. Now, the reason Truman wasn't able to do it the Arnold this year is because I know how to counter that blueprint. I need to be somewhat fresh to do it. And by the time that Pushkar, you know, with his last chance desperation bent wrist press, I didn't have the hand strength to counter it. You know, I didn't have the hand strength to keep him from walking out of the strap on me. If you watch the match 5 in the pin, my hand is so compromised, I'm not even holding on to anything except maybe his thumb, right?
So that's something that you're going to work on, hand strength.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to work on my riser. I'm going to work on my hand. I would rather not be an inch from the pad when the match stops. I'd rather be somewhere closer to the center. I thought I did the right stuff in preparation to stop Pushkar's hit much sooner. So yeah, I mean, I'll pull anybody, but the match that matters to me is whoever's number 1 in the world. That's the guy I want to pull.
So I've been reading a lot about. There are a couple of you got some haters, honey. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I'm the most hated guy in the sport that's not trying to be hated. You know what
How
I'm saying?
about that?
Like, I'm not trying to have haters.
What do you have to say to those people that think that you are one-dimensional, that there is only one move that you can operate with against the elite?
Well, against the elite, there is only one. You know? I mean, yeah, my objective is to stop you from pinning me by whatever means necessary. The people who just sit behind their keyboards and, you know, give their opinions and speculate about what would happen when this guy pulls that guy, they have no clue what it's like to be at this level. You take the top 5 guys in the world, you know, Pushkar, me, Chafee, Truman, Plinkoff, on any given day, you know, any one of us could potentially be the best guy, right? But that's a very elite group of people, you know.
It is. How cool is it? Let me ask you this. How cool is it to have started this at, 27 years ago?
Yeah.
27 years ago, and to now be among this very elite group, but not only among them, but that when you see each other, you're friends. How cool is that?
I mean, that's the thing. It's like with Pushkar, we've always had a lot of mutual respect for one another. And with this trip, you know, when he came up to us and I need you to come to our room, I want to talk to you, I got to know him on a personal level, right? So I thought it was my time to be the number 1 guy in the world. And then he commences to tell me a story about his dad. His dad passed away in 2008, same year mine did. But his dad wrote a book, and in the book he said, Andre, you're going to be the number 1 in the world. Well, shit, you know, you hear that, you know, the guy's dad wrote a book and stated that you're going to be the number 1 guy in the world. Yeah, you know, how you know, maybe he was destined to remain the number 1 in the world for now. You know, you just don't know. You respect your competitor and your opponent, but you don't know the personal side. You know, you don't know the trials and shit they went through and what their driving force. So it's cool just to get to know him on a personal level.
It was, and he gave me chocolate. I like that.
We drank way too much cognac and whiskey, though.
We did. Let me give you guys a little warning, okay? If they're Ukrainian, if they're Russian,
do
Polish,
not drink
whatever,
with them.
Do not drink with them, especially when you have a flight.
Holy
You're going to be
shit.
very ill.
Yeah, it was bad.
All right, so let me ask you this. That was very cool, a very personal look that we had with Andre there. But when or what will it take for us to see the monster again? Because I've been with you your last 3 vendettas, and they've all turned out the same way. And we were talking with Andre about that, and he says, Michael, they were all 50-50. At any point, they could have gone either way. Pushkar said, you know, you're very strong, 50-50. And that is so true. Now, Pushkar, no excuses. Going into that match, you were completely ready. 100% strongest that I've ever seen you. Now, going into the match with Truman, you were very lackadaisical. Going into the match with...
I was ready. I was strong going into Truman. I just was drinking and eating pizza the night before.
You were lackadaisical, maybe.
Well, it's because it wasn't for the number one in the world. It was supposed to be against Pushkar. Pushkar had an injury.
But it was a very...
They asked if I would pull Truman. I said, sure. It was for a title I already had.
But then going into the match with Saplinkov, you didn't even really know until 2 weeks before that it was for real going to happen, and up until that point you were in the bed. So you did not prepare for either one of those. But what I wanted to, where I was getting to, this match, there were no excuses. But what did not happen is the monster did not appear. You already said it's because you didn't pin. But what is it going to take? Because I've been with you when you were going into WAL. Fierce. Before you even got on the damn table, you were angry. You were angry as hell.
That's because all of Travis's fucking butt buddies were running their mouth and saying shit, and they pissed me off, you know.
But you were going to go there, and you were going to go right through anybody that got in your way that day. You didn't have that with Pushkar. So what is it going to take for the monster to reappear? And will we see him again? Will he show up?
I mean, there was a driving force behind WAL, but I didn't think I had any more motivation than what I had coming into being over on the world. That was what's most important. I've just got to get fit again, man. I mean, my daily life, I've got to feel good about me. Regardless of how strong I am, regardless of how good my workouts are, I got to be able to look in the mirror and like what I see. So that's the first step. Now, does that mean I'm not going to compete until I look good? No. Like I said, I'm competing next weekend. And then you got the Arnold Classic, and I'm sure there's other things coming. I figure it's going to take me about 4 months. 1 cheat meal a week for 4 months, and then I'll be 260 and ripped, or 270. I actually don't know what because for one, I don't know how heavy I'm going to be come January 8th. I plan on eating.
Just for all of you people out there, by the way, that have put little notes out there on social media that Michael Todd would be under 200 pounds if he was natural. What a crock of shit. Tell them what you graduated high school at.
I mean, 17, I was 215.
17, 215 pounds. Come on, guys.
But,
Wake
yeah,
up.
I'm a country boy. I got country boy genetics. If it wasn't for me working out, I'd probably be a 300-pound sloppy looking dude versus a 300-pound semi-fit looking dude, you know. I'm on 2 blood pressure pills a day. I'm on a water pill to keep my blood pressure down. I don't need to be this big, you know. I can be very near as strong with a lot less body fat and look really good with my shirt off. So.
When you beat Pushkar, and we've already said that it was not the same version of Pushkar. He's stronger.
Significantly.
But when you beat Pushkar, prior to, what was your physical condition?
I look like I stepped out of a magazine every day of my life.
And that was a very confident.
Dude, I mean, when a person feels good about themselves, it rolls over to all the other aspects of your life, right? So if I like how I look and I like how I feel, and I'm strong on top of that, hell yeah, I'm gonna walk in. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much it. I just gotta feel good about myself.
So, anything else that you wanna tell anybody that might be wondering about how you're doing or what you're gonna do next?
I'm gonna enjoy every day with this chick. We're gonna eat. And then we're gonna get in shape again.
So in 2018, we're going to be in the hunt again.
Yep. I'm stuck. I either got to go after it again or bow out gracefully, you know.
And we're not bowing out.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I sure was hoping I would have won, though. It would have been a lot easier just to start setting my sight on other goals, you know. Some of you guys know I was a black belt in Taekwondo 30 years ago when I got it, and I want to get back to be able to do the splits again, and post some cool, martial arts videos out there of a big guy doing some cool shit, which I may end up doing that as well over, when I start leaning out. I don't know. It would have been a lot easier had I came out on top this time, because I could start focusing. I wouldn't quit arm wrestling, I'm sure, but just focus on other aspects of my training and things I want to do. But I don't think I'm not quite done yet. So.
Okay, guys, you heard it here first. Definitely a little bit more subdued monster, if anything, but we are not done. He's already back training. It started 1 minute after we got home from Poland, and he has not stopped yet. So he's coming for whoever holds that title in 2018.